The following program contains scenes and language of a frank and explicit nature. Viewer discretion is advised.
Vallejo Police Department.
I want to report a double murder. If you go 1 mile east on Columbus Parkway to the public park, you'll find kids in a brown car. They were shot with a 9mm Luger. I also killed those kids last year. Goodbye.
The dispatcher has just spoken to the Zodiac killer.
On December 20th, 1968, a motorist discovered the lifeless bodies of Betty Lou Jensen and David Faraday in Lake Herman Road in Vallejo, California.
David had been shot once, and Betty had been shot 5 times.
This was the beginning that we know of the Zodiac's bloodthirsty reign on the Bay Area.
On July 4th, 1969, the Zodiac targeted another young couple, Darlene Farron and Michael Mayhew.
They had been shot multiple times and left for dead in Blue Rock Springs Park near Vallejo, California.
Later, the Vallejo, California Police Department received a call from the murderer, claiming credit for both crimes. The call ended.
I also killed those kids last year.
Against all odds, Michael survived to tell his tale.
It was after these crimes the police began receiving letters from the mysterious serial killer, claiming his name to be the Zodiac. He even sent a letter bragging about the previous murders. Along with the letters, the Zodiac sent ciphers.
If you solved one, it would supposedly reveal his identity. A couple in California solved one of the ciphers in just 1 hour. The solved cipher was the only one anyone could ever solve, but instead of revealing his identity, it read,
I like killing people because it's so much fun. It is more fun than killing wild game in the forest because man is the most dangerous animal of all, to kill something.
On September 27, 1969, Brian Hartnell and Cecilia Shepard were enjoying Senior Ditch Day on Lake Berryessa in Napa, California.
A man approached them wearing an executioner's mask, claiming to be an escaped convict from Mexico.
He forced them to tie each other up and stabbed them multiple times with a 10-inch blade.
The police received another call from the Zodiac after the kids had been found by a local fisherman. There was also writing on the car door left by the Zodiac. Again, the Zodiac had failed to kill both of his victims.
The only thing to me, this came out since then, but he told me at that time that he had killed a guard getting out of a prison. And so I did take him as a killer. To me, a killer isn't a normal person, so I assumed at the time that something was wrong.
On October 11, 1969, a cab driver was shot to death in broad daylight in a quiet San Francisco neighborhood, Presidio Heights.
3 witnesses saw the whole scene from a window and called the police.
The witnesses helped to create a composite sketch of the Zodiac.
The police received more taunting letters from the Zodiac, one of them regarding Paul Stein.
School children make fine targets. I think I shall wipe out a school bus some morning. Just shoot out the front tire and then pick off the kiddies as they come bouncing out.
He also talked about his slaves in paradise, which he would have in his afterlife. He would also keep a score, Zodiac 13, San Francisco Police Department 0.
After these letters, the Zodiac seemed to disappear from the Bay Area. But in 1990, a Christmas card was sent to the San Francisco Police Department. There is much debate over whether or not it was forged, because the police got a lot of fake letters from people claiming to be the Zodiac.
Overall, the police reviewed over 250,000 possible suspects for the Zodiac. Some people believed it to be Lawrence Kane or Rick Marshall. both longtime residents of the Bay Area who fit the physical description of the zodiac.
The most famous theory on the zodiac's identity is by a man named Robert Graysmith, who wrote 2 books on his theory. In his books, he incorrectly named 3 out of the 4 locations of the murders. He claimed to have cracked all of the ciphers. He also believed the zodiac had been killing according to astrological signs, but he was one of the many people to accuse the police's prime suspect, Arthur Leigh Allen.
New light was brought to the case when Don Cheney came forward with information about a friend of his, Arthur Leigh Allen, a schoolteacher who lived in Vallejo, California. He reported a conversation he had with Allen while hunting together 2 months before the first Zodiac killing.
Arthur asked him,
"Have you ever thought about killing people? If I did, I would kill people without motive. I would walk up and start shooting people, and I would bomb a school bus. If I did, I would send letters and puzzles to the police. I call myself the Zodiac."
Cheney replied,
"The Zodiac? Come on, that would be stupid."
Allen became quite offended. They discussed how his ideas came about after reading a book in high school called The Most Dangerous Game, about a man who survived on an island by killing people. But it was all pretend, their conversation.
The police dug further to find more information on Arthur Leigh Allen. The evidence was startling.
The Zodiac often used sailing terms in his letters. Allen owned a 22-foot sailboat. Allen had a known hatred for women. The Zodiac quoted "Twit willow, twit willow, twit willow" in his letter, a phrase from the musical The Mikado. This phrase was also one Allen was known to say.
Allen had to go to jail for completely different crimes, as he was a child molester who never should have been allowed to teach. Allen denied being the Zodiac. The police issued many search warrants, but found no evidence. His DNA did not match the Zodiac's, which was taken from saliva off one of his envelopes.
There was no proof. Allen died of diabetic kidney failure midway through the investigation.
But there were so many connections between Allen and the Zodiac, so many things to convict him of the crime. Almost too many.
What if Arthur Leigh Allen was framed? No one looked into Don Cheney, the man who came forward to the police with information about Arthur Leigh Allen. Allen claimed he never had that conversation with Cheney while they were hunting. Don Cheney didn't even turn in Allen until 2 years into the investigation.
What if they conspired together, but Cheney was blackmailing Allen to make it look like Allen was guilty? Cheney was friends with Allen to know enough about him to frame him, but not enough proof to send him to jail. We believe all of the ciphers were fake, except for the cipher that they solved.
Even the top FBI agents could not solve the rest of the ciphers, so they had to have been fake, just to mess with the police. The question remaining is whether or not the Zodiac is still alive today. He would be 74 years old. We know somewhere he has a collection of trophies, little reminders of every person he has murdered. A watch, a piece of a shirt, and a pair of car keys. When we find this collection, we will be one step closer to finding the Zodiac.